Oh, life. Yay, I'm live. What's up, kids? We're back again. We'll give it a second here so we can actually have people to talk to. What's up, Donald? First person to join. Look at you. Flying in here. Trying to hit some duos after this? Because I don't know how long I'll be on here tonight. What up, what up? People finally getting on here. Let's go. You always just gotta wait a minute or two, and then everybody jumps on. Thanks, Andy. Yeah, Panthers have completely tanked. And yet they still had a playoff hope up until this week. That's good. You need to be festive, Donald. A little slow there, but I've had lights up for a while now. Why is that a Mr. Kyle Walsh, future president of America? I almost said of the American States of the United. Jeez. Is Aaron Rodgers washed up? Nah. I was talking about this at work with my coworker today too. So she was trying to say that there's two types of Packers fans this season. Ones that think Aaron Rodgers is old and not. Bet my boots, heck yeah! Look at you. Thank you for joining, sir. Um, there's apparently this year there's been two types of Packers fans. One that think Aaron Rodgers is done and didn't deserve the contract, and two, one that thinks Aaron Rodgers is still great and everybody around him is failing him. I tried to explain to her that I'm kind of both this season. That, like, yeah, he had a bad year because he was missing terrible passes. Like, how often does he really miss that pass to Valdez-Scantling yesterday when he was open downfield? That would have been a touchdown. That he's off. Something's wrong. Those screen passes that he's throwing this year, he's throwing it behind them so they have to turn around and catch it and turn back around instead of catching and running all in the same motion. Little screen passes. Yeah, but both of his interceptions were deflections, not necessarily the smartest passes to be throwing in the first place, but the picks themselves were not necessarily his fault. You can never really blame the quarterback when it gets bounced around and intercepted, because you never know if the initial pass gets caught by the receiver or just gets knocked down right then and there. It's not an interception, but because that's not necessarily his fault. The ball went flying up in the air for anybody to catch. Do you wish Giants still? Okay, I'm not even gonna entertain that question because you know the answer to that already, Turk. Yeah, and he doesn't have a whole lot to work with. McCarthy's play calling was trash for past like 3 years. Everybody knows it. You could pretty much predict the plays sitting there watching it in home. Or like when I went up to Green Bay a few weeks ago, everybody was yelling out the play. Well, not everybody, but a good chunk of people were yelling out plays like, "Oh, it's a run to the left," and then it's a run to the left. He was getting predictable. I mean, yeah, they looked really good against the Falcons. I didn't really get to see the game yesterday because I was working for ISU. So it was a question about him, and that's why we're answering it. But yeah, look at what he's got around him aside from the play calling aspect. He's got 3 rookie wide receivers that they apparently haven't been clicking since the preseason and training camp, because Aaron's been talking about how they're not getting it since then. Jake Kumaro has been about the only one that's really, got it for a while, and he's been out and just now coming back. And Randall Cobb's been off and on injured, and Devontae Adams has been the only consistent one. So when you only got one person to throw to, kind of makes it tough. Jimmy Graham has been an incredible letdown this season. I guess recently you could say that it's been a little bit because of his broken thumb that he's not catching passes, but it's been all season. Yes, Aaron has to get him the ball, but also when he has been getting him the ball, it's not, he drops passes or doesn't necessarily, catches and he just falls over when he could be running for another couple yards. He started off the season decently, and that's where the Aaron needs to get him the ball came in. And then as the season progressed, he just hasn't been doing anything. Well, yeah, I mean, it's partially him taking the sacks, but it's also partially the offensive line is not that good. This is, they this last game they started Jason Spriggs at right tackle. He's been off and on, good and bad. They've had like 3 or 4 different guards starting throughout the season, and Bakhtiari and Corey Lindsley are about the only ones that are consistent enough to really matter. I've been wanting Balaga gone for years because he has to. He drops back in that pocket, collapses real quick. But if he can sit back there and figure out where he wants to throw the ball, then he's fine. But when you got guys coming from all different directions, he has to run. What position do they need to draft? They need to draft edge rusher. And somebody brought up a good point the other day on Twitter that if they had better guards, like when they had TJ Lang and Josh Sitton, that they were much better because he had confidence to step up into the pocket and do stuff instead of just running out. So, yeah, guard, edge rusher. What's up with Breeze? You could say the same thing for Goff. Like, what's up with both of these two teams? Incredibly high-powered offenses getting just stopped. It's like they put a wall in front of a train and the wall won. I don't get it. This ain't barely squeaked past the Panthers today, and they scored 12 points. What's up with Brady? Nobody cares what's up with Brady. He can decline all he wants. I'm sure 90% of the league would be fine with that. I mean, he still had a fairly efficient season, but it's like you can only hit checkdowns and stuff so much. No, I didn't get. Everybody has really fallen off as the season's progressed. I didn't get to watch that game really either because I had 2 basketball games to work yesterday, so my shoulder was killing me yesterday, holding the camera all day. It's wild. But I got to see a little bit of highlights and stuff from it. It was surprising to see at the end of the game, obviously Brady, all he ever does is hit checkdowns and the quick little passes, and he was gunning for the end zone at the end of that game when he could have hit James White and had 2 first downs and gotten out of bounds. Like, that didn't make sense. I don't know where his mind was there. Patriots also had an unbelievably amount of unpatriot-like plays with all the penalties that they accepted or had accepted against them yesterday. That normally doesn't happen with a Belichick team. They're very disciplined. So you bet your buns this week's going to be a rough week for them. Yeah, because they're not going to make the playoffs. They never were. So why did they win games? Anytime between here and the last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Oh, I know. I mean, naturally you would think so too. 2.5 minutes left. Brady comes out. Well, he's going to win. At both. Yeah. Well, because he's smart enough to know, oh, I've got 2.5 minutes. I'm going to eat clock while slowly moving down the field. If I can get inside the 40, then field goal to win it. But, I mean, yeah, obviously they needed more yesterday, but that's normally the case, at least. It's just a field goal to win it. But, yeah, you would think Giants could have squeezed in. Yeah. At this rate, I'd rather, if I was a Giants fan at this point, I would have rather them lost every game from week 8 on just to get a top pick, a guaranteed top 3 pick. Talk about your Colts, dude. They shut down the Cowboys, which I was glad they did because everybody's starting to jump on that Cowboys bandwagon. Yeah, they were good. They got hot for a 3-week span. And the Colts showed how not good that they are. They got stomped. And when you look at the Colts it's like, okay, they have Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. Marlon Mack as a running back, yeah, he's starting to come along a little bit, but still, like, not an NFL starting caliber running back, really. More like a change of pace type of dude. I don't even know who their next back is, like Hine or something like that. I don't even remember. And they were doing pretty well. Then Luck's hitting no names aside from T.Y. Hilton downfield, throwing. He's turned what started off as like a really crappy season into a pretty decent season for Andrew Luck. And yeah, Cowboys got exposed. Hines, that's what it is. Do you think Josh Rosen's a bum? Dude, I think he's going to be good. They just need to build around him a little bit more. Like the Cardinals were an old declining team, and they got a little bit of youth in there, but I mean it's going to take a little bit still. You can't just automatically be good after adding one person. Sometimes it works out, but sometimes most of the time it doesn't. Is Darnold? What about Josh Allen then? He took a Bills team that went to the playoffs last year, and I think he's made them better. They just didn't play as well this year, and he was out for that span. Yeah, Josh Allen is huge. How's it going, Jake? Josh Allen surprisingly was turned out to be super athletic. Like watching him at Wyoming, I knew that he could move around a little bit, but I never really like noticed how well he can just take off and run. And like he's fast too. Like he's not just quick, he's fast. He's blowing past guys. That's good. You gonna win or you gonna lose the first round of the playoffs there? Yeah, I think it was. I mean, I thought from the beginning it was a Josh Allen's the next Michael Vick. I don't know about that. People want to say Lamar Jackson is. I don't think he is either. Oh yeah, Barkley and the Giants. I know everybody was saying it was a terrible pick. I mean, I thought obviously it would have been fine to take something other than a quarterback in the first round or first couple rounds, and that's why I was glad that they took Kyle Lauletta because he was rumored to be like that dark horse quarterback that's going to turn out to be really good here in a couple of years if he gets a shot. And the Patriots had some interest in him. I'm glad they did not. Not yet, at least, dude. I hope he is. That would be exciting. I'll make it. I'll make a draft primer video on him after next season. hopefully by the end of next college football season, I will be. Well, they'll probably hopefully still be in the playoffs at this point, and I'll be somewhere where I can make an even cooler, more legit video. He said he's excited to work with me again, so we got the go ahead there. I thought the video I made for him, like a week or so ago, that I for TV is gonna be pretty legit. If you guys haven't seen that, go on YouTube, type in Brady Davis feature story. It's pretty cool. I had to make another one that's gonna air on actual TV, like next month or the month after. That one I thought turned out pretty good, but it still wasn't as good. It's not as in depth, but still, I mean, it's pretty neat. That'll be exciting to talk to him about draft stuff. FCS quarterbacks never get as much hype as they usually deserve. Like Carson Wentz, I guess you just have to go to a program that goes to the championship like 5 years in a row. I mean, people want to say that with Aaron Rodgers too, and it sucks blaming him because he is so good, but he does have to take some of the blame. Nobody wants to blame Brady just because he's been there forever. They're like, oh, well, he's always going to be good. It's never him. No, he can be at fault too. Yeah, if you want to say that. Check downs and 5-yard passes, and every now and then hitting a guy that's wide open. Like, if you guys watch those Twitter videos of that dude, I don't even remember. It's like Barry McCockner or something, where he does like the in-depth breakdown of Tom Brady's games. Like, that's literally every game. Oh, look, a check down where there's nobody around for 5+ yards. But it's not just him. He has a complete team around him. Oh, I know it is. There, anybody else, it's that. But because he had good teams for a while, or like when I mean good teams, I mean like all around teams. Like he had Vinatieri for however many years. Ah, there you are. You're only joining in just to talk about Vikings, aren't you? And that the Packers lost. I thought you were going to win the division again this year. Where's that at? Oh, what do you mean a BS injury? A dude breaks his collarbone and out half the year. That how is that BS? Does Wentz get a big contract? He, I want to. I could see a reason either way. The Bears are unforeseen obstacle. Yeah, okay. If you did not foresee that, you're silly. They were going to go as far as Trubisky was taking them this year because they picked up enough to be good. Yeah, what were we saying down here? Oh yeah, does I mean, you could see either way. Yes, Wentz should get a big contract because he has done so much for the Eagles since he's been there, and they want him to be their legit franchise guy for years to come. But on the flip side of that, he does get hurt fairly often, which isn't necessarily his fault. People get hurt. Big deal. Get over it. It was Nick Foles who led them through the playoffs and for a Super Bowl because he cringe when he plays. Foles is supposedly not going to be a part of the team next year, so he'll probably go out into the open market. Honestly, the Eagles are kind of dumb for giving away or for letting Nick Foles leave in the first place and then failing as a team and drafting somebody else because Nick Foles has been nothing but good for the Eagles. And now look, he's back in and he's beating, the top team in the NFC. Oh, I'm sure somebody will overpay for him and he's not going to fit their system and he's not going to be good. Cam Newton seems done. They keep talking about this shoulder injury that he's had the entire season, and I don't know how legit that is. And then today, Booger McFarland, he's so annoying, by the way. You definitely overpaid for Kirk Cousins. That's not a shocker at all. Should have kept Case Keenum for that low ticket price. But yeah, they keep talking about how Cam has this weird shoulder injury, and then stupid Booger McFarland today keeps saying he's an upper body thrower, and so he's inaccurate. Booger, shut up. Go away. Go take your stupid outfit with your little patty cap and everything and just go blow up on your little sideline machine. One, everybody hates your sideline machine at games because you can't see past it. There's just a big TV on the back. Screw you. Two, you're stupid. That whole Monday night crew is just god awful now. Like I like Joe Tessitore, and I hate that he has to be on there with Jason Witten, who is half there for one. He doesn't know what he's saying half the time. And 1 day anniversary of the bottle game. What do you mean the bottle game? Yeah, Jason Witten's half there, doesn't know what he's talking about half the time, and Booger McFarland just talks about dumb stuff. The best thing that he said the entire season was commenting on Kelvin Benjamin's weight, saying he's a Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end, which he basically is a tight end. Are they though? Loyola's lost a couple games. I would have figured they would have won. That was 1 year ago. I thought that was several years ago. Gruden is definitely missed on Monday Night Football. Bears make it through wild card weekend. I think that kind of depends on who they play. Oh, 17 years and a day. Okay. Well, you were saying like this. Okay, by the 17th, I thought you meant the 17th of the like. Today is the 17th because it is the 17th. That's what I thought you meant. Not like 17 years ago and a day. But yeah, I think it kind of depends on who the Bears have to play, whether or not they go one and done in the playoffs. Some people are putting them into the Super Bowl, and I don't know if they're that good yet. Like the defense is pretty good. You're just a neck bone in general, but but yeah, I don't know. Even if they do get to the Super Bowl, I think anybody they play in the Super Bowl is going to just thrash them. I don't know. He might be really annoyed by that Gabe Gabriel or whatever the heck his name is. As of right now, they're playing the Vikings. I could see that going either way. Yeah, toss up. I mean, the Vikings looked much better after getting rid of that offensive coordinator that was so highly touted after the Eagles Super Bowl because they ran the ball real good. Seeing y'all want to just criticize the man, and you never know if that gets to him or not. Does he want to talk about it? No, because he shouldn't. Yeah, he shouldn't make comments on dumb stuff like that. But at the same time, like you have teammates that say yes and some say no, that he's a leader and he's not. Just depends on who you are. Not all the time. It's not like every week he's going like, okay, guys, so I saw that you guys were saying this on Twitter the other day. I just want to clarify. No, like when he talked about the receivers not paying attention and stuff in the offseason, and then people were trying to roast him for that, like that's exactly what he should be making comments on and not like, well, this guy said on Twitter the other day. Yeah, but nobody wants to talk about how Breeze wasn't in the playoffs for years or going 7-9 for like 4 year, 5 years straight. NFL lifespan of Lamar Jackson. So it kind of depends on what comes. Dude, I don't care if Deshaun Watson's stats haven't been the greatest. He's winning games. That team's winning. That's what really matters. I said the same thing about Tebow. His stats didn't look great, but he won games. That's what you want in this league is wins. You don't necessarily, win with gaudy numbers. I mean, look, college football is a good example of that. You could have a guy throw for 5,000 yards and 40 touchdowns, but the rest of his team is garbage. Then, yeah, Rusty starts the season when they went 0-3. Yeah, everybody has rough years. Everybody has bad teams. But certain people, nobody wants to let that go. Lifespan of Lamar Jackson depends on what comes out of that offense. If they continue to run this read option, letting him run as much as he is, it's not very long. They'll have to be looking for another quarterback in like 5 years. But if they develop him more so to, yes, you can run, but Lamar, you have to sit back in the pocket and throw because the dude can throw, then that'll definitely expand his NFL lifespan. Oh, I know it is, but guys like that, like they can constantly run, they're going to get beat up, and that fifth year is going to be like that. No, I still got it, I swear. Then after that, it's like, okay, I don't know about you anymore, but because I'm a big fan of Lamar Jackson, he's exciting, he's electric. Is Lamar Jackson related to Michael Jackson? I don't know. It's a question you could ask him. I bet Lamar Jackson could. That offense is rolling right now. They're racking up rushing yards like crazy. How long am I going to be live for? I don't know. I was planning on not very long, but we got some decent conversation going on between people here. So Lamar Jackson's related to whoever Lamar Jackson's related to. It's personal family questions that I don't know the answers to. Everyone's related. I mean, there's a religious explanation to that. If you want to look into that. Really, that's what you're going to call Drew Brees? Everybody slows down at one point in the season. You could light it up for the entire year, but at one point, you're not going to be very good. It happens. Julio Jones does need a new team. Am I looking forward to the college football playoffs? No. Reason being, Notre Dame's a joke every time they get into like postseason play like this. Two, Alabama. I could, if that team like fell off the face of the earth, that'd be perfectly fine. I am not a fan of players sitting out bowl games either. Like, not, I was about to say this university is helping you out and putting your name out there, but then they're going to be like, oh, well, we should get paid for it then. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why college athletes should and should not be paid. I did a paper about it. It was multiple directions. But if you're one of those top tier players playing in like a no name, nobody cares bowl, go for it. But like if you're a player that's being looked at like Will Greer, I thought all right, well thank you for joining for first time in a while. Have fun in that early morning for you. um yeah, like if like when Christian McCaffrey sat out, like I know that's not a big bowl game, but that game it depends. I try to watch all the games too because it's like that bowl that Christian McCaffrey was in the Sun Bowl, and he had pretty much already done all he could do. Why the Peach Bowl is like the big bowl now. But yeah, he did all he could, all he needed to, and he was going to be a high draft pick regardless, playing in the Sun Bowl. Now, if you're playing in like the New Year's Six bowls, that's a big deal. If you're playing in like a couple of those like traditional bowls that people have been watching for years, it's probably a good idea to play. And like if you really love the sport, you're gonna go play. Which Alabama QB is starting as of right now? Jalen Hurts is, but Tua supposedly had ankle surgery. I completely missed that apparently, and he's coming along better than expected. So there's a potential that he might. Yeah, there is a list of funny bowl games. Yeah, or like the Cure Bowl. They're trying to make that a big deal. Like I didn't even know that was a thing, and yet they're like, this bowl's been going on for 5 years. Since when? Like they're almost as bad as like JUCO bowl games. But anywho, what were we? Oh yeah, Justin Fields, dude. I thought that dude was stupid. Anyways, top quarterback prospect has all these different schools that want him, and he goes to Georgia after Jake Fromm started and tore it up and was like obviously going to be the starter. You're wasting your time by going there when there's a dude that is guaranteed to be the starter going into your next year. Unless he gets hurt and you have to take over, you're going to be riding the bench, bro. Like, I understand that you're good, but come on. Dude takes this team and goes to the championship. You really think you're going to start over him next year? No. Why would you go there? Go somewhere else and be just as successful then. Don't try to steal somebody else's stuff just because it's a school you want to go to. Like, I get that it's probably a school he wanted to go to, but did you really think you were going to be the starter? No. Be logical with your picks. Ohio State, Oklahoma, Florida State. Dude, if he goes to Oklahoma, he's guaranteed pretty much to be the starter from day one. Florida State, for that matter, too, because DeAndre Francois is not doing anything. His first year was really good, and he's completely died since then. You're excited to see Christmas end? What do you mean? Yeah, the White Sox met with Machado today, and his agent was in Chicago. Bryce Harper's hanging out and becoming friends with White Sox players. He better go to Ohio State. What do you need him to go to Ohio State for? You've got Tate Martell. Haskins doesn't even have to leave. Okay, good for him. He can go be a scumbag and play for the Yankees. It fit him perfectly. See, I didn't know if you were touching on the whole like make Santa gender neutral thing. That's just a oof, I don't even know what an insanity thing. I did not because the Death Star is not real, so it doesn't really matter. What does Santa need to be gender neutral for? Nobody had an issue with him for how many hundreds of years? And now we get to this point and what? Like, how do you even make a gender neutral Santa? Yeah, and they're like, it has to be a female Santa or a gender neutral. Okay, does Mrs. Claus not exist then? Like, come on, people. The whole thing's just dumb. But that's where we are in the world now. Dumb people get their opinions heard, apparently. Oh yeah, if Santa gets changed, then we need to start a revolution then. Man, our conversations on here were like booming for like a 20-minute span then, and now we're down to like nothing. No, I did not because I don't pay attention to things like Miss Universe. I could care less. Hasn't Miss Philippines been in like the finals for several couple years now or something? Will a white person ever win it again? Stay tuned. But I don't care. Bears fan. I almost said Beards fan just because of the Beardzilla name. Um, yeah, dude, they're definitely exceeding expectations of what everybody thought of this year. Does Mahomes really have 45 TDs? Yes. I know the NFL season kind of has died out because like all the top teams have been losing, and like nobody knows what the heck's going on. Like finally, we had a Thursday night game that was more exciting than anything on Sunday. See, I thought the same thing. I thought the Bears signed some key free agents and made no, Donald, I am not made an incredible trade to get Khalil Mack, and they were only going to go as far as Trubisky was taking them, and I didn't think he was going to be as far along. But I mean, they've exceeded expectations, even with him not necessarily playing as well as he could be. Excuse me, he's not playing bad by any means. But yeah, top NFL team, dude. I want to say like the Chiefs, but they just got beat by the Chargers. And then, like, if you want to say the Rams, well, they've been declining, and the Saints have too. I almost want to say Houston, just because they're tough to beat. They're 10-4 right now. I know the Jets just gave them a run for their money, but it's like they always seem to find a way to win. And see, you could say the Saints too, but then they just barely squeaked out a win tonight against the Panthers, who have lost like 6 or 7 straight games now. Just start the playoffs now. I mean, for some teams, playoffs are already starting. I'm not really anticipating the playoffs. It's just like nothing's really happening. Like all the good teams are like losing. Like the Broncos were in playoff contention, lost to the Browns. Falcons have been looking terrible, beat the Cardinals, big whoop. Um, Cowboys were hot for like 3 weeks, got shut out by the Colts. Dolphins supposedly on the rise, looking good, get destroyed by the Vikings. Giants supposedly riding a hot streak, looking good, get shut out by the Titans. Um, Redskins finally won a game. Buccaneers getting eliminated for the like 11th year in a row. Like the Niners beating the Seahawks. Like it's just weird. All those weird things happening. The Eagles, who have been terrible, start Nick Foles, and he beats one of the best teams in the league. Like it's just been weird. Normally, like this time of year is when all the good football is being played because it's like this is when you have to win. Yeah, I don't know about that. Giants losing, hurting everybody. I don't know about that, but we'll go with it. It does kind of have a March Madness feel like, oh, well, the Rams are just going to go torch the Eagles. What? Bears win out. They have to play what the Vikings and who else left? I feel like that Vikings game might be a toss-up. Why are the good teams falling apart? I don't know. Niners and the Vikings. They've got a really good shot at winning out then. But Niners just beat the Seahawks, who didn't they beat the Bears early in the year or something like that. So yeah, if it's toss up, but I could see them doing it. The Rams Eagles game was bad. I fell asleep during it, and then I woke up and I was like, oh, Rams might actually like tie this game. And then he threw a pick, and I was like, oh, okay, never mind. They definitely did. It's keeping them alive right now. I wish I could debate with Skip Bayless too. Dude's an idiot. Halftime, I'd laugh at him about how stupid he's being. Yeah, the Saints Panthers game tonight. I thought that game was going to be pretty high scoring and exciting. Nope, 12 to friggin' 9. The only exciting part was the 2 point conversion being returned for 2 points and the Saints almost fumbling the game away at the end of towards the end. How do I feel about rooting for rival teams? Well, okay, it's kind of situational. What do you mean by that specifically? What's up, Glenn? How's it going? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people falling off the cliff this year. It's not just them. High ankle sprain for Tua. Didn't he? He had surgery on it though, so we'll see how that works. Okay, but what do you mean? Like, am I rooting for the rival team to beat my team, or am I rooting for like a rival team to beat somebody else? Like, there's situations where it's possible. Rooting for both teams, that's not okay. The only time it would be okay to root for your rival is if it helps you. Like, what was it, a couple of years ago or something that Green Bay needed Minnesota to lose a game and they were playing the Bears. I'm like, all right, Chicago, I hope you win tonight. And I don't remember the outcome of it, but it's like if it helps your team, might as well. Just as long as your team beats them. That's what matters, really. It's not a QB draft this year, the NFL. Yeah. The quarterbacks coming into this next draft are not, I wouldn't, I'd say the QB class isn't as good as this last one. I mean, there's a couple of them that aren't bad at all. They're pretty good, but oh, now you're all about board the Haskins train. Haskins doesn't even have to come out if he doesn't want to. No, not this week. Glenn, finals are done and everybody's moving back home, so I'm kind of alone here, literally. Yeah, Bears are looking good. Colts are getting hot. It's weird. Okay. I always laugh when people follow me on Instagram because I don't ever use Instagram. I don't even know why I still have it. Super Bowl predictions. Well, it's kind of tough to pick somebody right now since everybody's kind of falling apart. One team I am pretty big on right now is the Chargers. They don't have their starting running back or their backup running back, and they're still doing pretty damn good. They just beat the Chiefs, who are the number one seed in the AFC, and that's pretty. It's pretty big. Texans are also looking good. They've won, what was it, like 7 of their last 8 games, so that's pretty impressive. After that 0-3 start to the season, um, Saints are just squeaking by the Panthers tonight. So, and they didn't look very. Obviously they played like crap against the Cowboys and lost. It seems as though if you can like shut down what they want to do, like through the air, they're not really going to do a whole lot. They've kind of gotten away from their run game. It looks like. I mean, yeah, the Patriots might have to play on the road for the first time in forever. Darn, that sucks. Colts are starting to, get hot at the right time, but they may not even make the playoffs. I don't know. It's hard to pick somebody out of this. Like the Steelers, I don't trust them whatsoever. They, one week they could be really great, and the next week they'll look terrible. Like they almost got beat by the Jaguars, and the Jaguars have been terrible this year. Where am I from? Doesn't it say on there? United States of America. The Rams are starting to look real bad too. Todd Gurley apparently got hurt, so we don't know how bad that injury is, or if they're even going to really admit to it. Seahawks just got beat by the lowly Niners. No, the Steelers haven't been impressive in the past few weeks. Oh, I know. Keenan Allen has a hip injury. They're expecting him to play coming up. So, like, yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me to pick somebody for the Super Bowl right now because one, I don't know the playoff matchups for sure, and two, everybody's losing weird games that they should be winning. Because, like, I'm sure most people expected the Cowboys to go out and just run all over the Colts, and that did not happen. Yeah, I know where Turkey's at. And the Chiefs couldn't do anything in the second half. They scored most of their points in the first half against the Chargers. And yeah. Hello, what is up? I feel like the Rams and Chiefs are pretenders, which is possible because the Rams were 13-3 last year and they lost in the first round. Chiefs might do just the same thing. The Chiefs haven't won like a home playoff game in forever. I think it was what that stat was the other day. Yeah, the Saints look terrible tonight, and they've looked pretty good most of the season. It's getting to that point where it's like you guys need to be playing good, or else you're not going to do anything. There could be a round of surprising first round exits this year. Doing well. How are you on this fine evening? Chargers and Bears. I just don't know if the Bears are ready to make a playoff run. Like they've already surprised everybody with being as good as they are this year. Like I don't know. I just don't see it. But then again, like I don't know who they're playing because as it is right now, they're playing the Vikings, and I could see that game going either way. Falcons probably should go into rebuild mode after that Super Bowl blunder. They've just been, ugh. I could see the Rams being one and done again too. The Chargers about the only team right now that's like hot and staying good. The Bears do have a nasty defense, but If you like, I could see them if they played the Texans. The Texans defense, I think, is good enough to almost completely shut down that offense. So that would be a tough game for them to play. The Chargers defense is playing really well right now too. That secondary, especially, they could. I don't know. I haven't seen this type of Philip Rivers since what was that, 2007, when they went to the AFC Championship game. Defense wins championships. I don't know. The last time we saw the defense win a championship was the Seahawks, and then they went back the next year and played stupid. But that was offensively. I don't know. It really depends on the year and the matchup. Yeah, Lomachenko. I think we looked that up before a few weeks ago. Broncos won with D. Broncos won with the Panthers being I don't know what. That one I think was definitely set up by the NFL just to have Peyton Manning win his last game because the Panthers just looked absolutely atrocious in that game. Yeah, they didn't even look like they wanted to be anything in that game. So I don't know. The big question in that game was Cam not diving for that fumble, and he just kind of stared at it. So no, but who's to say that wasn't him being scared? He was just saying like, "Oh, I fumbled. I'm getting paid to stand here and look at it, and oh darn." There's certain things it just looks like it's set up. So Pat Saints, but neither one of them are looking good. Yeah, Peyton had 11 completions. They looked like that entire Super Bowl was just bad, honestly. Yeah, did you want to sign Kirk Cousins to that contract? I think it was. Pats, Chargers, and Saints, Rams, AFC and NFC Championship. Potentially, just as long as the Chargers win. The other two, I don't care. Either one of them could win. Maybe NFL cards, like trading cards. McDaniels to the Packers. I don't know. A lot of people have been trying to give that something to get going with, and I don't know. He had a good opportunity to go to the Colts and take them over, and he completely bailed on that. Then again, Green Bay's in the NFC, and they don't play the Patriots very often. So I don't know if he's afraid of playing the Patriots or if he's just waiting around to get the Patriots job with Bill Belichick leaving. So who knows? Ray Lewis Super Bowl looks scripted too. Kind of. The Niners were starting to run away with that, and then it was like, oh, the lights went out, and now the Ravens are winning. What? Deflate gate troll payback. Teddy Bridgewater to the Jags. Really, you think so? I'm thinking maybe Joe Flacco to the Jags now, since it looks like Ravens are going to move on from him. Oh, that's right. It was the other way around. It was the Niners coming back, and they just couldn't quite come back. That was like the first Super Bowl that I didn't get to watch because I had to work. So I didn't actually get to watch it and see how it went. Mark Sanchez to the unemployment line. Yeah, he looked okay in one game, and then now Niners got some help with the lights. BS. I don't know. The whole thing was weird. Which Super Bowl? The Niners and the Ravens. I honestly thought Lamar Jackson was going to be a flop. Really? I was big on Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is good. Favorite team? Packers. It's been a sad season for sure, but it happens. I was big on RG3 too, especially after that first year, and then he had that knee injury, and he's never the same. How do you steal someone if you don't have the opportunity to take him anyways? They could have taken him in the first round, but they did not. They made the better choice of taking Saquon. Eagles looking good now because they got Foles starting again. Maybe. I never thought they should have got rid of Foles in the first place. I thought he should have been starting quarterback since even while Chip Kelly was there. Really, you're going to be shocked if Eli starts next year. Apparently, they think he's got a couple, like 6 more good years in him. Sure, they did. Yeah, the Bears are looking all right. Is Wentz hurt or benched? He is hurt. He has a fractured vertebrae in his back. That's one of the things they were saying before the Monday night game today. I don't remember who they said it, but I feel like I don't even remember who it was. I'm not going to throw names out there, but yeah, they were on the Monday night countdown. They said somebody, and I can't remember who it was, said that Eli has like 6 good years left in him as a starting quarterback. Yeah, if he doesn't get any O-line help, he definitely does not have 6 more years left in him. Sign Foles to motivate Eli. Hall of Famer. They're gonna say he's a Hall of Famer just because he won 2 Super Bowls and he's a Manning. Aside from that, I don't know. I mean, early in his career, he definitely took the Giants to better places, but I don't know what we're even going with the rival teams thing, but you don't root for your rival team unless it helps you in any way. Deserving, I don't know. I want to say no, but it's going to happen anyways. Is it you? Think Romo was better than Eli? I don't know. I was just saying because you brought it up. Are the Browns a playoff team next year? It's a good possibility. They're looking pretty good right now, too. I mean, they're in playoff contention now. They need a lot of. Oh, I know what you're saying. Okay. I know what you're talking about now. That's all you had to say. Now I know. uh, and yeah, Baker is playing well. There was a tweet the other day that was about how coaching makes such a big difference sometimes. And the statistics behind it are not bad. They were talking about how since they fired Hugh Jackson and Todd Haley, how incredible the Browns' stats have been since. And they also talked about how when the Steelers fired Todd Haley, how their offensive stats went up too. And that, like, what up, girl? It's about time you joined. Jeez. Um, yeah, I mean, it takes the right coaches sometimes, but it also takes the right players. I definitely think they have the right players now, and they're starting to get the right coaches in there. So the Browns could make the playoffs next year, pretty convincingly. This year, I mean, they're close. They're knocking on the door. But yeah, the Browns need a lot of help this year to make it to the playoffs. They're going to be right there, right on the edge, looking in. Oh, at a family thing. Yeah, when I go to family things, I still do the show. I'm just giving you a hard time. My sister just said she's the light of everybody's life. LOL. Browns might be able to. I know, pygmy goats. Yes. Yeah, even in their losses, it was close. I mean, they tied with the Steelers, and they probably should have won that first game, which would put them at 7-7 right now instead of 6-7-1. And yeah, I mean they've had several close games. Like especially like those overtime games that they could have won and potentially had like two more wins added onto there, along with taking that tie and making it, yeah, missed field goals. No, he's not. He's not here right now. The light of your, I don't know what that means, Donald. But yeah, I mean the Browns potentially could be like 9-4 right now, or 9-5 or whatever. I don't even know. They're so loud and obnoxious, but they're adorable little pygmy goats. They're good for the soul. I mean, yeah, I mean you don't do that, but I know what you're talking about, and it's like people do that, but more so people do that like, well, thank you. I try to be good for everybody's soul. But more so like you do that when those teams that you're rooting for are not even in the same conference, let alone division. Like I know there's people that are like, "Oh, I'm a Cubs and a White Sox fan." Like, oh well, there's two things going here, so it's probably comments from down here. But yeah, like people say they're Cubs and White Sox fans, and it's like, okay, like I get different teams from different conferences in the same city, maybe, but like, yeah, same division, same conference, in-state rivals. I don't know. No, it's just multiple accounts. You know, that's where I get a majority of my news because I'd rather not watch mainstream news. It doesn't help you most of the time. It's just pushing an agenda, which is annoying. Yeah, like there's like this is on a separate account streaming to a different Periscope and Twitter than the iPad down here that's on a different account streaming to a different Periscope and a different Twitter to YouTube that's over here. We're all around, man. With the graphics, I mean, I don't know how to do all this Periscope stuff yet. Yeah, logos on screen. Um, I mean, after this next school year, well, we'll see. This school year might be pretty easy for me, but I mean, and not yet, not yeah. I was gonna start streaming on Twitch, but then I didn't get around to it really, like figuring it out. And I got busy with a bunch of stuff, so I was kind of like, yeah, we'll get close to it. You'd use Periscope Producer with the. I mean, there's a lot of things I need to be doing to get this going better. I just don't have time and money to be doing it. Getting there though. This next semester should be pretty easy for me, so we'll see what good improvements we can make there, as well as then I'm done with school for who knows how long, because I'll have a degree and might have a lot of spare time on my hands after that. So we'll see. We'll get better. I graduate in May. It was supposed to be done this month, but yes, Donald, I'm using a laptop right now to stream on YouTube. I could probably be on Twitch right there, but I made a Twitch account and messed with it for like a day and then didn't do anything with it since. So I just need to actually do it and use it. I got that going. Then I tried to think of like, oh well, there's always this option. How is my GPA average? Um, yeah, there's like this option where it's like connect cameras for Periscope. So I'm like, ooh, can I get like a regular camera and have this going? But then I don't know how that would work for like seeing comments and stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of things I just need to play with, and I haven't because I didn't have time or money. I did end up getting like this little video camera here. I'm like, I wonder if I could set this up and have better quality. Probably not, but Yeah, there's a lot of things that I need to mess with for this. I probably can. I just don't know how yet. I just have to take the time to do it. See, it's like take the time and do homework so I can graduate, or take the time and play with the camera. I know. I just not, you know, I got a lot of other things going on. Dude, I know I wish I could say that, but it's cost so much money that like I need to just get it done. Yeah. And if they wouldn't have changed like the required classes and stuff that I needed, I would have been done this semester and that would have been pretty cool. But whatever. How much is a semester? This last semester that I just finished was just over $7,000, and my next final semester is going to be just over 7,000. Oh, I know, but I mean, they just do whatever they want as long as we're giving them money. They really don't care about us, which is weird because at one point, because I transferred, and so I had a bunch of credits, and some of them didn't like work. Yeah, $14,000 a year. But good news, I don't have any student debts yet. Yeah, and that's also with a in-state tuition too, because this is where I am from. So yet, yeah. um, yeah, they had or yeah, I transferred in and I had all these credits, and they were like, oh well, some of these don't work and some of them do. So and I'm like, oh, okay, so I guess I'm not in this major then. And they're like, well, I mean, you can be, but you may not want to keep doing it. I'm like, whatever, or do something else. And then they were like, hey, you have a bunch of credits and don't have a declared major. We're going to kick you out of the university if you don't declare one. I'm like, excuse me, what now? Who's paying you? Who here? I'm giving you so much money and you're trying to tell me to get out? Dude, Illinois taxes the crap out of you for every little friggin' thing. So that's that's another reason it's so much more expensive here. It's ridiculous. My cousin went to Loyola for like 4 years, and oh my lord. Yeah, I mean, I got screwed in my final year because they changed the requirements. I'm supposed to be done right now. I wish I was done. All my friends are leaving me, and I'm sad. I'm especially sad over one because she was with me for like 2 years now. I know. I'm surprised Nevada is too, but I mean, they've been kind of building for the past couple of years during the class. Oh my, that's irritating. But I've had that happen before too. We just rolled with it. Teacher didn't care. He messed with some things to make it better. It's all right. Yeah. Yeah, universities aren't very nice, nor do they really care. They have a good shot going undefeated. That's possible. I don't see it happening because it's pretty difficult to go undefeated in basketball, but colleges like the Gestapo just change the rules as they go. Yeah, paying for a class and halfway through say you shouldn't have taken it. Oh my gosh, I know. Or like I had an advisor tell me to apply for one like a major that I was like so I told her what I wanted to do and she's like, "Okay, apply for this major." Well, then I turned out that that's and not at all what I was wanting to do. So I had to like withdraw my uh application after getting accepted and push it into something else that was totally different. Like nobody knows what's going on in college. Be favored in every game. I mean, yeah, college basketball is like that though. You can get favored in a bunch of different games, but somebody's going to get you. You won't expect it, and it's just going to happen. Like Duke wasn't expecting to lose, and they lost to Gonzaga, who's now starting to slide. I know, and like one of my buddies told me that once I got to a major university, that I would have one advisor the entire time, and everything would be okay. Because I started at a community college and I had a different advisor every time I went in to go see somebody for anything. And that was irritating. And then I get to ISU and I have an advisor for a semester and he leaves to go to a different school. Then I have another advisor who was great for like another year. And then I get another advisor for a year who essentially emailed us and said, "Hey, don't email me unless it's super important. Like, don't talk to me unless it's super important." I'm like, "What?" And then then they hired another one, and I get transferred to her. So like, I've had different advisors all the time. It's just, ugh. Oh my, that's terrible. Delaying students to make more money. Yeah, it's dumb. Like if I could have, when I got here to ISU, if I could have stuck with that second advisor the entire time, that would have been glorious. She was amazing, loved her, and then I get bounced around after that. Fantastic. Oh my, that's irritating. That's when I would like transfer and leave. Be like, okay, that's how people do. It's definitely not recommended, but it does happen. I've made friends that literally like have just transferred in. They're like, "Oh, well, I'm graduating at the end of the semester." I'm like, "Why did you come here?" A lot of people are casuals in your book, apparently. Colts are looking pretty good right now. Possible playoff push. Winter meetings are whack. No big moves yet. I don't know. I thought the um, Goldschmidt move was decent, but aside from that, nothing's really happened. I feel like it's probably not going to happen until Machado or Harper, yeah, get signed, and then it's going to be like boom, 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 because then all these teams are going to be like, okay, well, we didn't get them. Now we have money to spend on everybody else. And I think they're just waiting for Harper or Machado to make a move, and then we'll see what happens from there. Okay, kids, we went about as long as I was planning on going, anyways. And so, yeah, and the conversation's pretty much died out, anyways. So, hopefully, by next week, something interesting. Ooh, next week's Christmas. Special Christmas Eve edition, maybe next week? We'll have to see. So, because it probably won't be on Sunday, because apparently I have a work Christmas party. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, maybe Sunday, maybe Christmas Eve. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll figure something out. Casuals are all around, and yeah. All right. Well, we'll figure something out. Christmas is. How do you hate Christmas? It's so fun. Anyways, have a good one, everybody. We'll see you next week. I've got a big deal going on Wednesday, so maybe we can talk about that next week. We'll let you know. It's probably gonna go really bad, FYI. Anyways, have a good one.